You won't believe this. My neighbor literally called the cops on me for parking in my own garage. Yeah, that happened. And then, her fancy black SUV ended up crushed in a junkyard. Let me back up a sec and tell you how this neighborhood nightmare went down, because it's wild. So, Jake had just moved into a quiet little suburb in Cedar Grove, excited to finally have his own place with a garage. One morning, running late for work, coffee in hand, he opens the door and freezes. Right there, inside his own garage, was a shiny black SUV, not blocking the door, but literally parked inside his space. And guess who's unloading groceries like she owns the place? A woman named Linda, mid-40s, perfectly coiffed blonde, dripping entitlement. Jake tries to stay calm, says, "Excuse me, that's my garage." She just shrugs, says, "I know, but you never park your car here. Parking's tight on this street, so I'll be using it now." Jake's jaw dropped. Seriously, she just walked off like she was royalty. Next day, same thing. Jake waits until she parks, then approaches with his best neighborly smile, saying, "Look, I actually do need my garage." But Linda's not having it. She laughs, flips her sunglasses, and says, "I've watched you park on the street or driveway most days. My SUV's new, it needs protection. Your garage is empty. You're being selfish." The nerve. This went on for 2 weeks, Jake leaving polite notes, which she'd crumple up and toss onto his lawn, installing a new automatic garage door opener, only for Linda to somehow get a remote and open it herself. Tom, the next-door neighbor, sees Jake dealing with all this and says, "Yeah, that's Linda from across the street. She's been bossing everyone around. Demanded my wife move her flower pots because they ruin the look of the neighborhood." At least Jake wasn't alone. Then came the big moment. Jake parks his own car in the garage for the first time in weeks, feeling victorious. Not long after, Linda pulls up, sees him in her spot, and her face goes from smug to pure shock. She storms over, yelling, "What do you think you're doing? This is my garage," Jake calmly replies. "It's attached to my house, and I pay the mortgage." She's furious then, out of nowhere, pulls out her phone and calls the cops. You can't make this up. 2 officers arrive, listen to Linda's story, then the confusion hits. They ask, "Who owns the garage?" Linda admits it's Jake's, but insists she needs it more. The officers explain she's trespassing. Linda screams she'll call her lawyer, storms off, leaving the neighbors watching in disbelief. Things get worse. Jake finds a threatening note taped to his door. Linda claims friends in the HOA and city council and warns him to enjoy his property while he can. Then, one night, someone eggs Jake's car. He suspects Linda, but can't prove it. Meanwhile, Jake learns from Tom's wife Lisa that Linda had a meltdown at a community meeting, demanding the removal of a 70-year-old oak tree blocking her view, and ranting about Jake's eyesore garage. Plus, Linda's SUV has expired temporary tags and a pile of unpaid parking tickets. So Jake calls his cousin Mike, who works at City Towing, and learns vehicles like Linda's are prime candidates for impound if parked illegally with unpaid fines. He starts documenting everything: her repeated trespassing, threats, expired tags, unpaid tickets. Then he sets a trap, leaves the garage door slightly open, parks in the driveway. Predictably, Linda can't resist as she rolls her SUV right into the garage again, smug as ever. Jake calls Mike, who arrives with a tow truck as they hook up the SUV. Linda screams, tries to climb on the flatbed, yells, "This is my spot. You can't take my car." Police show up again, same officers telling her to step back or face arrest for obstruction. She threatens them with "my husband's connections," mascara running down her face. But the tow goes through. Neighbors gather, watching Linda's meltdown like a soap opera. She glares at Jake and hisses, "You'll regret this. Jake shrugs. It's my garage. Linda never gave you permission. And that's where it gets interesting. Linda's connections mean nothing. Her entitlement exposed for all to see. Her fancy SUV crushed in the junkyard soon after. Justice served. But the story leaves you wondering what happens when neighbors take things too far. When does standing your ground turn into a neighborhood war? And who really owns the streets we live on? So what do you think? Was Jake right to set that trap? Was Linda just a crazy entitled neighbor? Or a victim of tough luck? Drop your thoughts below. Let's get a real conversation going about property rights, community respect, and where the line should be drawn. Hit subscribe for more wild neighbor stories like this. And hey, stay safe out there. You never know when the next parking battle will start right in your own driveway.